Hello and welcome back. We shall now continue our discussion on lists a bit further. Uh, we shall talk a little bit today about list manipulation. So we'll just remove this stuff here. Yeah, we will work with the lists. We already have our lists L1 and L2 defined. If we want to add elements to an existing list, we have the uh, function append, and the way we use append is you give the list name L2 dot append, and then we can add a new element to this list. So we can say pi, and we can now print the list L2 and see what happens. Yeah, initially we had this list L2 and the list L2 is printed, which is this one. Then we have appended the element pi to this list, and the new element has been added to the very end of this list. And when we have printed L2, we get this output and we see that new element has been added to the end of this list. So it appends to the existing list. We may actually want to sometimes insert an element at a known index. So if I want to insert a new element here in this list, so the append doesn't work. If I want to insert 4 into this list at this location, so if I use the append one and give it 4 as input, it just gets appended to the very end of this list. So we have this function insert. The syntax is list name dot insert, and here we have to specify two things. First is the index where we want to insert the element, and the element itself which we want to insert. So the index where I want to insert is 0, 1, 2, 3. The third index, which is 0.5, which holds the value 0.5, at this at this location I want to insert the new element 4, and then everything else gets pushed forwards to the right. So I will say the index is 0, 1, 2, 3, and the element I want to insert is 4, and I'll just say print L2 again. Yeah, and here we see that the very last print statement L2 is this. Here 1, 2, 3, and I have the element 4 inserted here at the index 3, and then I have the rest. I have my rest of the list just pushed rightwards. So we'll try something else also here, just to make sure this doesn't confuse you with 3 and 4. So if I want to have so this is my list now, and if I want to have high, the word high being inserted here, so the index should be 7. So because the indexing starts from 0, so this will be like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 7th element is supposed to be high. The 8th element of this list would be high, but the index of that element would be 7, and I can print it and check it now, and this is what I wanted to achieve. So this is about appending elements to an existing list, or inserting new elements into an existing list at known locations. We can also remove elements from a list, and we can do so by using the keyword remove. So we have the syntax is list name dot remove, and if I want to remove the element py from this, or let's just say if I want to remove the element hello from this list, I can just give L2 dot remove. I have to print it actually, yeah, print L2. So yes, so this print statement L2 corresponds to the last one which is printed here, and the word hello doesn't appear here because I have removed it. One more thing to note is that we can actually have multiple elements in the list which are repeated. So we can have 1, 2, for example, this list can be list of marks of students. So and it can happen that multiple students may get same marks for a question or in a subject. We are allowed to have repeating elements in the list. I can actually now try to do. I want to remove the element 2.5 from here. Actually, I just want to do this as. I'll remove this as 2.5. Yeah, let's try this. Now I have defined my list L2 as 1, 2, 2.5, 1.5, and 2.5. And if I want to remove the element 2.5 from my list L2, there's a conundrum here about which element to be removed, because 2.5 is appearing more than once here, and by default Python removes the very first occurrence of that list. Before removal of that element has 2.5, 4, 1.5 and 2.5 here, but once I use the remove function and ask it to remove the value 2.5, the first 2.5 value is removed. So now I am left with 1, 2, 4, 1.5, 2.5 and so on in my list. So that is one functionality. We can remove elements from the list based on the index as well. So if I want to remove the second occurrence of 2.5, I can specify index of that element, and in this case the index is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. At index 4 I have the second occurrence of 2.5, and I can use the pop function of the list. So the syntax is list name dot pop and index. I can just run this. Here I have the second 2.5 being removed because now I have 2.5, 1.5 and this is removed, and I have the rest of my string hello, true and false. And if you don't specify anything here, the default behavior of Python is to just pop out the last element of the list, or in other words remove the last element of the list. So if I don't specify an index, the last element is removed. For example, here the element false is popped out of that list. In this manner we can remove elements from the list, and we have seen how to append and insert elements. Before we end, we should also know that we can actually define an empty list. We can have something like L3 equal to, we can define the list by giving these opening and closing square brackets but not adding any elements there, and we can just check the length of that list L3. We see that the length of that list is 0, and we can also in fact check the type of L3 element. So type, as we have seen in one of our earlier videos, we can check the type of the elements, and we have seen that we can identify integers, floats, strings, bools using this type function. And here if I see the type, the element L3 is a list, belongs to a class list. We can now add elements to L3. L3 dot append element 1, let's say ELEM1, and print L3. And here we have our list L3 with one of the new elements added. So we can define an empty list and then populate the list using the append function. So these are some key functionalities and key features of lists which should help us get started. Hope you enjoyed it. See you soon. Bye.